Welcome everyone to More Than Mises Guys. We are finishing out the original miniseries of the Gobots with the final conflict. Much like V, the final conflict. But this is different because it's Gobots.
Well,
So
it
I'm
takes place
here
on
with
Earth, so is it Earth Final Conflict?
Oh wow, nice catch. Um God. So I'm here with Boo, the AxelonUnderground.com. Check it out, AxelonUnderground.com or .net if you prefer to be edgy and different. And also check out the Excellent Underground on Facebook.com
There
if
are
you
links on the
choose.
website, so
There are amazing. But so we
it's
are
crazy how
here.
that works.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
howdy, everyone.
So when we last left our heroes, Leader One was all bent up and limping across a scrapyard while Zod was just having fun playing with him.
Yeah, Leader One was in really bad shape.
I really, I didn't put two and two together about the energy levels and like how he looks and stuff. So it's kind of neat to have this as a reminder because as we'll find out later, there's something very, I guess, symbiotic with energy and their bodies.
Yes.
But for the time being, we're just watching him limp around and trying to like keep Zod from eating him. But Zod goes and chomps down on Leader One pretty hard.
Oh, he chews him up. And when he's limping, I couldn't help but think that, he's an airplane and there's those birds that'll fake like a broken wing to like lead predators away.
Yeah, actually, that checks out really nicely.
I kind of thought about that when I saw that, but he's actually hurt. He's not faking it.
Yeah. So yeah, he grabs a stick, like almost like a Yoda walking stick, like a small one, and he leads Zod to the car compactor.
Yeah, he's trying to lead him over to the big compactor. And meanwhile, Psykill gets mad even when he receives good news from Braxis. Like he just hates hearing from Braxis, period.
You get the feeling he hates Braxis.
Yeah, like he's like Braxis calls and he's like, "What?" And then he gives him good news and he's like, "Oh, okay." So,
Yeah, I get that. I feel that with work.
yeah. So it's just I love seeing how they banter back and forth. And
Oh
yeah,
man,
Psykill is having like none of it.
Zod and Psychill hate each other, but they're both after
Oh,
the same thing.
Braxis.
Braxis, sorry, God, Braxis and Psychill are like are they hate each other, but they're after the same thing in different ways. So you
In
have
a way, Braxis is kind of like toadying after him, but I guess
to a
he's
point.
he's starting to see that it's not getting him anywhere. Like when they first show up, he was really kissing butt,
Yeah.
and then yeah, it's just nothing he does is really helping. And he hasn't done anything wrong. Braxis has pretty much done everything right so far, according
Well,
to plan.
within reason, like what he can do, but I think Psychill actually expects more out of him, so there's the problem there.
Yeah, but I mean, everything Psykill's put him to do,
Yeah.
he's accomplished. And I mean, whereas the rest of the renegades keep declaring the deaths of the guardians
Well,
prematurely.
well, not just the rest of the renegades, as we'll find out.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Zod even hits him with his breath weapon when he attacks
Hmm.
leader one. So yeah, he failed that reflex save.
He takes a nice hit.
Yeah.
Oh, if you do
And
me
it was
no
kind of
do.
cool to watch him because he's like thrashing him around. It's like somebody was watching like Jaws or something.
Hmm. The Zod is one of those I never played with the Zod at all. But they show Zod in a full playability in this episode.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got a Zod on my desk. I love it. He's a big chonky toy.
Of
And
course you do.
oh yeah, well he's got like big monster truck tires on him. Like
Yeah.
they don't show it, I mean, quite as well on here. I mean, he's got big tires like he's a big tricycle. But
It's really kind of a shame we never saw a Zod on the a monster truck, circuit. Because you saw all these different kinds of Bigfoot and all the different ones that we'd see on the monster truck circuit. You think the Zod would be a great one because remember how they have the transforming monster truck thing that
Oh
was shown.
yeah.
They could have had a Zod.
Well, they had something like that, I thought.
They probably had something equivalent, but not really Zod.
Yeah, they had like different dinosaur looking things.
Yeah.
And then, on The Simpsons they had Truckosaurus.
Yes,
So
they
I always
did.
thought of Zod when I saw Truckosaurus.
Oh God. Or the Crushinator on Futurama if you'd like.
Right.
Um so yeah, leader
But yeah,
one,
Zod's pretty scary here. Sorry.
yeah, no, he's great.
Yeah.
He tricks Zod like leader one realizes how the car compactor works and he jumps in there with his like Yoda walking stick and tricks Zod into coming after him.
Yeah. And I mean all the hydraulic compressors are just like smashing and he just Sarah Connors
He
Zod's
does.
head.
He does. He makes a flathead. Sorry. Every time I think of like flathead, I think of Kids in the Hall.
Hmm.
You are a flathead. So yeah, he hits the he turns like, he basically crushes the head of Zod, and then he throws the stick into his nerve center, which is the big red circle in the middle.
Yeah, he uses like a javelin and triggers
Yeah,
his nerve center, which Turbo said before, I believe about it.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and so because it makes when he crushes the head, Zod's not stopped by having his head crushed
Oh
either.
no.
He just rears up and like he's mad, and that's when he hits his nerve center. He reveals his weak point.
I think the way Turbo puts it is like you can't really stop a Zod except for you hit his nerve center. It's a
Yeah,
circle on his belly. And that's
yeah,
what happens.
yeah. He
It
just
was well, it was such a call to the toy.
oh, it totally was. It's showing you the play pattern here,
Yeah.
and also to me, it's a callback to The Hobbit, which Smog had that one
One scale.
weak spot. Yeah, one scale, and that's what I'm pretty sure they had some inspiration from that and the
Oh, sure.
dragons. The dragon stories of old, because I mean that's what Zod is basically. He's a dragon on wheels.
Yeah, I mean he kind of is. He's a metallic dragon on wheels, yeah. Good
Yeah,
way to
he's
put
even
it.
got like breath weapon. Oh,
He does. It's a
yeah,
great breath weapon too. But after Zod's taken out, Leader One collapses and Turbo confirms that if he doesn't get a major influx of energy, he's gonna die.
yeah.
um Anya Turganova,
Which
who
they have now pulled her out of the zombification.
they kind of like off scripted that one. It's
Yeah,
like
that was.
well, Matt is like all about it, so he's gonna get her and like give her a Bluetooth headpiece also. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and they mentioned last time they only had one left after they gave Matt his. So
yeah. Which I was kind of surprised because I didn't think about the fact that Matt was gonna do this, but Matt's all about him some Eastern Bloc strange.
oh yeah, there's some there's some James Bond vibes going here.
There is.
You know.
Thank God they didn't use any James Bond kind of names. Um, so Anya runs jumper cables from Zod to Leader One. I mean, essentially, it's what it does. And
Yeah, it's a little more technical, but yeah, she basically she suggests, well, why don't we hook it up to that thing?
yeah,
And they're like, oh, well, I don't know. And they said it could reactivate Zod if you're not careful.
yeah, I think Turbo says like, if you're not careful, you can reactivate Zod. And
So even with his head crushed, Zod is not dead.
no,
And they're still scared of him. They're like, oh no, that thing could wake up and trash us all right now. So
but nice thing is it works because we're of course it works. It's the good guys. And Leader One pulls a full on Christine. Have you ever
that is
seen?
exactly what I wrote down too. Was a like,
Nice.
yeah, I go, Gobots heal like Christine when given an
It's,
energy source.
it's like Anya's like, show me. And yeah, Leader One like gets all straightened out and like all healed and stuff.
Yeah, all the pieces start like reshaping like memory metal. They
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back where they are. But yeah, it's just like what you saw in Christine, where the grill starts reshaping back, and
Show
the
me.
yeah the fenders reform.
Yeah.
And this is the second time we've had a Stephen King reference because we had Children of the Corn last episode.
You're right. Actually, you're very right. That's funny. Um, I'm gonna take a picture of my notes to show you that I he pulls a Christine. because I legitimately had the same freaking notes.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and we didn't even discuss this at
no,
all. This
no, we
episode, no.
didn't.
Mm-mm.
I watched the
But
episode and like that's like Christine.
considering the stuff that we've watched in common, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think there's anywhere else I've seen anything do that
Oh
like
no.
Christine.
My wife and I, we both really like horror movies and we like horror anthology things where they talk about like there's actually one called In Search of Darkness, 1, 2, and 3, where they talk about the decade of the 80s.
Hmm.
And that is one of people's favorite scenes of a horror movie. We're during Christine, where the main character is like I guess all a bunch of jocks, beat up Christine, his car,
Hmm.
and just destroy it. And he just stands in front of her and he basically goes, "Show me." Like basically, show me you can fix yourself. And
Yeah.
Christine completely does. It's a really cool reverse animation thing they did on that. But
Maybe
yeah,
we've stumbled across something that Christine was actually a renegade GoBot,
it makes so much sense because Christine loved killing people.
right? Maybe, that could have been like Crasher's mom.
She's a very, very pretty lady.
Those two would have got along really well, I think.
Yep.
The only thing I think they would have had conflict over is if they both wanted the same victim.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
No, it's mine.
Yeah.
Um,
You'd have to give them some space. They're like big solitary cats. They gotta have their space.
but so Scooter, AJ, and Nick are still in the command center while Psykill takes it back to Cheyenne Mountain. And yeah, things are looking bad for them. They're trying to, figure out what to do here, and they're trying to figure out how to save Leader One.
Oh yeah. And Sidekill is chewing out Copter and Crasher because Turbo showed back up after they swore he was dead.
But wait, there's more.
And he correctly surmises that, well, if Turbo survived, then Scooter's probably alive too.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
So,
But you notice he didn't do the same thing when it came to Leader One. He didn't act the same way.
oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Hmm.
But here's the ultimate insult. If you notice, he turns to Braxis and actually treats Braxis as if he's his only competent minion. And
Which
he
is saying a
tell
lot.
yeah, he doesn't say it with any derision. He actually says it, well, almost like, you know, like he has faith in Braxis. And he says, "Yeah, you need to go, and I'm putting you in charge of security of Cheyenne Mountain."
Yeah.
And yeah, he says it like, okay, he doesn't come out and say it, but the tone and everything, and demeanor is that, well, you're the only one that's doing stuff right so far, so now you're in charge of security here.
And yeah, man, Braxis is like, thank you, sir.
Oh
And
yeah.
he is licking so much boot right now. But I think Braxis is one of those who is he sees the advantage of building strong ties with of I guess his betters.
Hmm.
He's like, okay, if I do this, I'll end up better off in the end.
He seems like his villain origin story would have been him being underappreciated and basically being the scientist that he does all the work, but his
Mhm.
boss takes all the credit and he
Oh
keeps
yeah.
getting passed over for it. So you just throw him a crumb, and I mean, he just becomes a pussycat for Psykill right away. Like all the
Oh,
grumbling and the begging is gone. He's like, he's going to show him.
and he's good at it though. He's really good at it.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from him at all. Yeah, so I'm trying to get back to my notes here. We go back. Oh, sorry. The command center makes his way back to Cheyenne Mountain.
Yes.
And Scooter, Nick, and AJ leave it open away to the mountain to allow Leader One and Turbo inside because they found out that Turbo and Leader One are still coming because Leader One radios Scooter while they're in the command center.
Yeah. So he wants to let him know and tells him, "Oh, good, you're in. So now find a way to get us in."
As much as I think Scooter's, he's I know Gobots came first, but he's essentially Bumblebee. He doesn't have a lot of like really competent warrior skills, but he's really good at what he does.
Oh yeah. And Bumblebee was his whole thing was espionage.
Yeah,
And I
exactly what
mean,
Scooter does.
yeah, and I think Scooter does it a little better.
Oh, he does.
He is captured a whole lot less than Bumblebee was.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Uh,
Man, can you imagine Michael Bay's GoBots? Like how much tougher would Scooter be now? See, after you see what he did with Bumblebee, what would he do with Scooter, who's like actually pretty good at the espionage thing?
Scooter would become a Vespa.
Right.
So,
Oh
so
no,
a
no. He'd
moped.
be like a Harley or something, or
You're not wrong.
yeah.
Oh man. So obviously because they're gonna infiltrate the base, he dons the Psykill hologram again.
Oh yeah. He's like, well, it worked one time before because they're like, well, if they see us walking around, they're gonna be alerted. So
Oh yeah.
and he goes around doing like a Patton type speech to every
Very good. Carry on.
yes, we're at the like we're nearing victory, blah blah. He's giving a pep talk as he's walking on the street or the street,
Soldiers,
the
w-
hallway.
we're at the precipice. Continue
Yeah.
on the way you're doing.
He's really hamming it up as Psycho.
He's great. He's actually really enjoyable at this. Uh,
Scooter gets a lot of flack, and I know it's because of his voice,
it is. It's 100% because of his voice.
but he's a good character.
Hmm. He's like a he's a he's a character that doesn't really want to be involved as much as he is, but he was, he's a main character. He's needed, so he uses his skills well.
Yeah, he's not real confident in his abilities,
Yeah.
but he pulls it off.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He does a great job at it too. And I'll be honest, Leader One is the least dynamic character in the Guardians.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
And I know.
Turbo's Turbo's fun, and Scooter
Mhm.
actually has the most character arc in the entire thing.
Oh yeah, I think we get more time with Scooter than anybody else.
Which he's supposed to be the lens of
Hmm.
that's why Nick is with him so much. He's the lens for the Watcher.
And I go back to what like Bob Ford and Larry DiTillio said when they were working on Beast Wars,
Hmm.
that for Optimus Primal and Megatron, they're like, you know, they're your static characters. There's,
Yeah.
you've got your Boy Scout and your baddie, and it's all the peripheral characters that you really get to play with and develop.
God, especially like Dinobot in that.
Oh yeah, well, Dinobot, Tarantulas, Rat
Oh yeah.
Trap, and that's what you have here is like, leader one has to be the Boy Scout. He's Captain America. And so he's got to be unchanging. Whereas you get banter and real like character growth in Turbo and
Hmm.
Scooter.
Yeah, I really think Tarantulas is the best character out of Beast Wars. Dinobot is right there with him though.
Oh yeah, Tarantulas and Dinobot are my two favorites in Beast Wars.
They're so good because they're so ambiguous with their loyalties,
Hmm.
and they're smarter than anyone else in the show.
Oh yeah, well, between them and like Megatron, they're the only ones that really knew what was going on.
Well, Black Arachnia too,
Yeah. Well, that's because she was stealing info from the three of them,
because she's smart about that.
right?
That's a completely different show. I cannot wait to get to Beast Wars. But for now, our friends of the show, Jim and Mike, all over on the show, podcast, will be working on that.
That's is a TV show.
TV show. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
TV show.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get there eventually. They're way ahead of us with this because we have to go through a lot of stuff. I actually want to when we finish the Sunbow it's a TV show. I want to go through the G2 comics and then lead into Beast Wars.
Oh yeah,
I think it'd be a
there's a
great way to
lot of
go.
'80s to go through before you get to the '90s.
There is. We have a long way to go. I'm so glad all of you are here joining us for the entire run because it's a long way to go. But anyways, back to this episode.
I thought you were about to break into the Star Trek Enterprise theme song.
No, I'm not Rod Stewart. Nor will I be. Um, so yes, I dubbed him Psy Turbo.
Psy
Psy
Turbo.
Turbo walks into the security room and clears it out. He basically says, "All right, everyone else," in
Oh, you
Psycho's
mean Psy
voice.
Scooter?
Was that?
Psy
Oh,
Scooter, you mean?
oh God, I Psy Turbo, Psy Scooter. Yes, thank
You
you.
monster.
What did I do? I did it twice. Yeah, Psy Scooter walks into the security room and says, "Everybody out," in Psycho's voice. But Braxis is mad about Braxis goes like, "Well, so are we going to hold on 1 second. My plug apparently came out. There we
Uh,
go.
there you go.
So Braxis is like, are we delaying the invasion? And Psycho's like, oh yeah, yes. And he gets super mad.
Oh yeah, because he postponed it, and everything's going cool between Braxis and Psykill,
Yeah.
and then this is the point where Braxis is supposed to take over the Earth.
Hmm.
He's getting ready to crown himself, and he's like, "Wait, why are you postponing this?" Yeah.
Yeah, and a Psy Scooter doesn't have to get an answer for this.
Well, he just mocks him.
Yeah,
He goes, "Oh, hey, give control of the Earth to you," you know.
yeah,
And
which makes sense still, but yeah.
but man, did it make Braxis mad.
And he grabs a laser rifle,
Yeah.
gets
Yeah, I mean,
ready. Well, he gets ready to shoot Psycho in the back, which is a pretty brazen thing to do.
he was mad because like I said, I think if you did a villain origin for him, it's like this happens to him repeatedly in life, and that's why he turned
Yeah.
out to be the jerk that he is. So this is like the last straw for Braxis. He's like, I'm not having this anymore. I've done everything you wanted. I did it right, and you're gonna like yank the rug out from under me at the last minute.
Yeah, essentially, it is exactly that.
And I mean, he shows really good expression too. Like you see his face really like screw up, and he's like mad. Braxis is
Big
pissed.
mad.
Yeah, he's big mad. And it's to me, it's kind of tragic from the villain side because it's like Braxis and Psycho were cool until Scooter came in and screwed it up. So it's cool for the Guardian side, but yeah,
It
for
was,
once,
yeah,
you
it
know,
was definitely the Scooter did so much more than Psycho could have done on his own.
yeah.
I feel almost feel like I almost feel like Braxis didn't quite trust Psycho, and he almost like he was got some confirmation bias that made him like totally turn on Psycho.
I was about to say that. It's like basically Scooter turned what Braxis was expecting anyway against him. And for a second, Braxis had hope that Psycho was going to follow through.
Yeah,
And then he yanked that out from under him, and it really messed Braxis up.
confirmation bias is a funny thing, y'all.
Oh yeah. And
Uh,
then while this is going on, the Renegade Fortress falls.
yes.
Which, by the way, I meant to mention just the earlier one. Did you notice it was hovering before?
You showed this to me. We're going to include it on the video portion of this. I want to encourage everyone to go watch the YouTube version of this to see what was in the actual hologram or the hologram, the image that was on Hans Cuff.
Oh yeah, when Hans Cuff is pulling that out. Yeah, you asked about that last time. Dun
So
dun.
you'll
Oh, there's
see a little of
Tank.
this.
That's a nice
Uh,
figure.
it's a great figure. I will say that though, I actually mine broke at one point because there's a real weak point on the leg transformation part of it. But
Hmm.
if you don't transform him, I don't transform him. He looks fantastic. He has like a rail gun thing on his arm. Really good. It's also heavy. You could take out two burglars with this one. Uh,
but
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 so
yeah,
everyone,
hovering above Hans Cuff is the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What were you
I was
saying?
gonna say, I encourage everyone to get an image on the YouTube of what Hans Cuff has above him,
Well,
which,
if you can, watch these episodes. They're
oh yeah,
good. They're fun to watch.
man, I'll tell you, I was ready to discount a lot of the animation, but it really is very our generation watched heavy metal.
Hmm.
We've talked about this before. The episodes are very heavy metal adjacent. Just that the animation style is consistent, it is nice, it is crisp. There is expression on the humans' faces. Actually, the expression on the Gobots' faces quite a bit.
Yeah, they knew what they're doing.
They did a great job. And yes, it is done by Hanna-Barbera. And yes, there's a lot of recycled sound clips of lasers firing, and it almost sounds like Space Ghosts or Blue God, what's his name?
Oh, we're talking about Blue Falcon and
Blue
Dynamite.
Falcon. Yeah, you hear
Yeah,
a lot of the same power beam sounds, but it isn't taken away by how good this is animated, how well it was
yeah.
done.
Well, I mean, there were the same sound effects you heard on like Johnny Quest too.
They were.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that. There's the same sound effects you heard on Thunder the Barbarian, on Herculoids, all that stuff.
Birdman.
Birdman, yeah.
N-
They're good sound bites, but you also hear as we already said, Star Wars sound bites.
Yeah.
The animation is really good. The expressions on the faces on all of the characters. Crasher is becoming easily one of my favorite characters because she has a lot of, I don't know, depth in the emotion of what she says.
hmm She
I
says things that belies a deeper character.
She does. I did not expect that. And you got me to want to do this miniseries. You were like on me about it for a while. Like we should watch this. We should watch because your kids were current children are enjoying this so much.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
they
thought,
love it.
oh yeah. And I thought, well, I should check this out again. And maybe I'm misremembering how good or bad it was. Crasher's fantastic. I
Schoolyard bias is powerful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Nostalgia bias is very
yeah.
powerful.
This is almost like the anti-nostalgia for a lot of people that like, poo-poo it. They're like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's GoBots," but it was seriously underrated, and it gave Transformers a run for its money.
It really should have. Honestly, the way that the Gobots figures were very a lot of the times they're very monolithic in the way they transformed and the way they looked. But the show was really good about establishing some really great things. And your profile picture on Zoom here is Jeeper Creeper, and he was a great character for the short time he's in there.
Yeah, he made a real impression.
He did. Like to me, Tank made a big impression. There are so many good things about this, and as children of the 80s, about the 80s deregulation of cartoons and toys, there were so many good things that came from this, and we lump them all together as big mash of like 80s stuff, and Optimus Prime and Megatron show up really big in there, but we forget a lot of the other things that were really good in this. And I think GoBots were really underrated in how good they were, especially the deluxe or super GoBots. So
I I think that the animation style is what a lot of people judged it on, which
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with this animation.
Mm.
But anime was coming up. This is when anime was making its rise, and we had
Robotech.
Robotech. I mean, of course, you had Toei doing Transformers.
Hmm.
You had Thundercats,
Yeah.
Rankin Bass,
Rankin
but it was still
Bass.
anime styled though. Wheeled Warriors was also anime
Oh,
styled.
I love that show.
Yeah. So you had a that was kind of like the way things were going, is they were really leaning hard into that. And then it wasn't long after that that like Akira showed up, and that made like that cemented, the anime style into American animation.
You're not wrong, actually. And by the way, I have to correct you. It's Jace in the Wheeled Warriors.
Yes, Jason the Wheeled Warriors. Yeah.
Michael Straczynski, who worked on Babylon 5, was the
hmm
main story editor on Jason and the Wheeled Warriors. If you're a Babylon 5 fan, you should appreciate the writing of that show too.
Larry DeTillia worked on it as well.
Oh, he did actually. You're right.
Yeah.
Lear D'Atilio, who worked with Beast Wars with Bob Forward, who also was an architect of our childhood. So
Yeah, all these guys go back, and they even went further back together, back onto Masters of the Universe, like He-Man and the
that's
Masters of the
right.
Universe. Yeah.
That I will admit, I know you're a huge He-Man and the Masters of the Universe fan. It didn't really, I guess it didn't quite catch me. I had a lot of the toys and stuff. The show was pretty good, but it didn't have the long-lasting effect that Transformers, in a way, GoBots had for me.
hmm
So
Yeah, I came in like right there on that, I guess that high fantasy arc that we had with Conan and
Oh yeah,
Kroll and was it
Kroll,
Sword and the Sorcerer,
Kroll.
right?
I, Sword and Sorcerer. I remember finally. I need to watch that again at some point.
I just showed that one to the kids like a week or two ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it honestly that and what's it? Blood and Flesh and Blood.
hmm
That's another good one.
But yeah, so I picked up on that with He-Man, and I originally liked the mini comics because the mini comics it was like a post-apocalyptic world with like lost technology and magic. So in that way, it was a lot like what Thundar the Barbarian
I was
turned
say that
into.
when you were saying like Thunder the Barbarian, we didn't appreciate the fact that it was very post-apocalyptic, like the fantasy and post-apocalyptic, kind of technology stuff.
Yeah, it was a good mix of sci-fi and fantasy together. Like,
Yeah, being as a we're D&D nerds as we are, I think Thunder the Barbarian would have made a great fantasy setting for a lot of stuff with RPG stuff.
oh yeah, it was almost like it was a post-apocalyptic shadow run.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
We actually at one point, friends and I were playing the precursor of the Shadowrun, which I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. It was a fantasy version of Shadowrun. Oh my
hmm
gosh, I cannot remember the name of it right now. So much freaking fun. And it led to you kind of creating a story as you're telling what you're going to do.
hmm
Oh my gosh, what is the name of that stuff? I'm gonna look it up right now while we're talking. Um,
Okay. Well, while you're
um,
looking that up, I can talk about some He-Man stuff.
yes, please do.
Well, like I was really into those mini comics, and they had Alcala did the artwork in them, and like Skeletor looked really scary and creepy looking. It looked almost like old horror comic artwork. And then when the Filmation cartoon came out as a kid, I was actually put off a little bit on there because it was toned down from what those mini comics were. Because they wouldn't have been able to put those mini comics on TV back then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the satanic panic going on and everything, and He-Man was already catching flack for it. So they toned it down. They went more with what they did in the DC comics, which was kind of a takeoff of DC's Captain Marvel, Shazam,
Oh yeah.
which you have the kid turn into the hero and stuff like that. But yeah, so I was put off on that, but the Master of the Universe cartoon grew on me. But yeah, I was iffy about it at first because I was like, who's this Prince Adam guy? Because in the mini comics, He-Man was like a barbarian that was like gifted like magical and like sci-fi weapons and armor.
He was, and that actually worked really well with like Man at Arms, because Man
Yeah.
at Arms was he would use guns and also like maces and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, in the mini comics, Man-at-Arms shows up almost like the pilot from Mad Max with his little gyrocopter.
Oh,
Like
he
he's got all the
does.
gadgets and stuff. Like he's the master of all the lost technology. And they eventually worked that in with the classics, which they made that actually an earlier He-Man, which he was I believe Ular, which he was like the savage He-Man. So that story does exist now in the lore.
Also with I'll say the fantasy version of Shadowrun was
hmm
Earth Dawn.
Earth Dawn, okay. Yeah, I never played that one.
It's actually a lot of fun. Uh, the idea of Earth Dawn was you have it's like a fantasy setting for Earth for it's fantasy setting for Shadowrun, where like my favorite character on that I played was a troll archer. I just had a
hmm
little fairy. One of the other players would like sit on my shoulder as a fairy, but there was a lot of stuff where you would do better if you could story tell your way through things.
hmm
If you could like create a story, like a really neat arc,
hmm
you would do better. So I really appreciated that. And so yeah, in a way that was very much um like I guess Earth Dawn plus, a little Shadowrun was really Thunder the Barbarian.
Yeah.
So, anyways, sorry. Ed just got back to me. He has, I was like, man, what is it? You gotta tell me. He's like, it's Earthdon. And he's like, what brought that up? I'm like, dude, I'm talking about He-Man right now. He's like, oh yeah, okay. Anyways,
Hey, Ed.
there's a long meandering.
But yeah, well, going back to what you're saying is like there was just like an explosion of these licensed properties, and you know they called them commercial tunes in the 80s. They just exploded, and it kept going in the 90s. It kind of toned down a little bit in the 90s.
It
They
it
dialed it
did.
back a little.
I'll tell you the one show that I was really surprised I liked a lot was they did a Conan very similar to what Conan was like rather than the movies.
Hmm.
But yeah,
I
they
remember
did a
seeing that
Conan.
advertised, but I never watched it.
It was pretty good. A lot of like reptilian, like dark gods kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was very 90s, early 90s cartoons stuff. So but it was actually pretty good, and I think it would have fit really well with Thunder the Barbarian.
Hmm.
Um, by the way, everyone, I told Ed whenever he's ready to get back to this, let me know, and he said he will do that. So we'll get back to Transformers eventually, but right now we've got Boo and we've got GoBots.
That's good news for all you Ed heads out there.
So many Ed heads. I know you are there.
So yeah, we've named his fan base now. They're Ed heads.
They love the flowing black locks.
Man, who doesn't?
I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Yours is
I don't.
growing out of the wrong side of your face.
We'll get there eventually. Anyways, so yeah, so the Renegade Fortress has fallen, but Pathfinder it tells them all that there is an army of Zods coming their way.
Well, and here's something. It's a clever play on that though, because in the previous episodes, if you look at the Renegade fortress, it's
Yeah,
hovering. It floats.
it does. It's like it's almost like the Temple of Doom, not Temple of Doom. What is the DC
Oh, the Legion
Council?
of Doom.
Legion of Doom. Thank you. Legion of
Yeah,
Doom, except instead of floating in a swamp, it floats on Gobotron.
right. And it's like got a big mushroom tower.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when it's fallen, it's literally fallen, and it's like wrecked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got the repulsor lifts and everything for that.
Yeah, so that's when Hans Kuff comes out, and he's got all the renegades that were in it, which apparently there's just four left. Yeah, there was Tank, Phytor, Jeeper Creeper,
Oh,
and Buggy
sorry.
Man. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, there's Phytor. See, hey, put
Um,
him next to that tank, and you should probably have the proportions
actually,
from the
that's a good
previous
point.
episode.
God, Tank's huge.
Show
Yeah.
us. Show us.
Okay, fine. I'll show you.
I want to
Here you go.
see.
No, here you go. I'll show you.
There we go. Yeah.
There
See,
you go.
that looks cool.
Yeah.
We
Um,
needed Tank as a super GoBot.
we really do.
Yeah.
That was a shame. I think we need a Tank as a Super Gobot now with current technology of action figures.
We need Commander class Tank.
Oh man, I'm trying to spend that much money, but that would hook me immediately. I want to tank the size of Fortress Maximus.
Oh wow, you want a Titan class tank?
Yes.
Titana tank?
Don't tell my wife. Yes, I do.
I found it at Ross. It was six
It was
bucks.
it was only $200, but it could have been $210 if I bought it new. That'll work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure
so
that'll work. So yeah, they're giving the debriefing to the Guardians Council now
yeah.
that apparently the Renegades don't even care at this point. They didn't unless they brainstormed them off camera.
Yeah,
They
I don't
told
know.
them, yeah, they told them that a bunch of Zods are coming their way.
I kind of feeling like yeah they got the message that all the Zods are coming, so they're like yeah let's just give up and we're gonna get really good payoff here soon, so let's just hang out.
Yeah, they're not gonna fight and die because they know that Psykill and his armada's on the way, so they're just gonna get let out. They might spend a
Yeah,
weekend in the slammer.
they're like the January 6th guys. Anyways, the
Shh. What was that? It broke up. I didn't.
so
Well, there's some oddballs there in the council. I don't know if you noticed.
I what you got?
Okay, so you see Zemon and Pathfinder and
Yep.
those guys. Tank is on the Guardian Council.
What? I missed that completely.
Yeah, as is Loco.
I missed that
Yeah,
completely.
they drew Tank. See, I told you last time that it seems like as they tried to wrap this up, they got a little rushed. So we've got almost like an ACOM error here where we've got, yeah,
But
Loco is standing right next to Zemon, and you see Tank's back, like he's facing Zemon with his back to the camera.
much better animated, much cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
They
And,
could have put dive in there. Come on, man.
oh, yeah, that would have been cool. But see, this is where I told you it gets a little weird because this was originally like a movie, like a TV
Yeah,
movie, and then it was chopped up. Apparently, there's two different cuts for this scene.
really.
Yes, because pardon me, in this scene, getting choked up.
I could
In this
tell.
scene, Zemon starts talking, and then the council disappears behind him. Like they're just not there. The cells are gone. Okay, and then it cuts over to Pathfinder. She speaks, and then she keeps moving her head and stuff like she's still speaking, but she's not saying anything. So like the voices are out of sync or something.
Okay, so I got to interject real quickly. I thought my AirPods I was watching this on were out of sync. Okay, it was actually the episode.
It's actually the episode.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so the difference is if you find the copy, I think it's only on VHS, and if you find a copy of that cut, it cuts off right before the council disappears
Hmm.
when Zemon's talking. It's about 3 seconds, and then that syncs up better with Pathfinder, and her voice doesn't like cut out while she's still talking. So it's
Nice.
like in this cut, there's a few seconds of extra time between the shot moving to Pathfinder, like on Zemon's shot. So it's too
Okay,
long and it throws out sync. But it only does it for this scene. When it cuts to the next scene, everything's normal again.
obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was out of sync just for that little bit.
Okay, I was wondering if it was just like my phone watching the episode or if it was actually just, if it's my AirPods or whatever. But it's interesting that it did that.
Yeah. There it was an editing error in the animation side of things.
Okay, cool, cool.
So
But way back to the episode here, real quick.
yes.
Braxis escapes and goes to tell Psykill and others that what's going on with the with you know, Psy Scooter
Yeah,
and
because
company.
Scooter drops his hologram once he starts firing at him. Because
Yeah.
yeah, then AJ and Nick show up and they're like, "Look out, Scooter!" And
Yeah.
he's like, "Ah, those meddling kids."
And yeah, so Braxis escapes and goes to tell them everything like that. Leader one is approaching, but the Zod army growls in its way to set Gobotron. Basically, Leader one's approaching, but Psychill's like, it doesn't matter. They're gonna launch. So they're all growling and like launching. It basically like, oh well, you tried hard, but you didn't make it. You there?
Oh yeah, I'm here. There's something I wanted to check real quick on this.
Okay, no problem. I can keep talking. The humans and Guardians fight back, and AJ and Nick procure a couple of tanks. These are really cool tanks, by the way. They're like this brownish tan color. They've got these almost like railguns on top of them. Then those are the ones that sound like land speeders
Oh yeah, and
when
that's
they
what I was
power up.
looking for because I mistakenly thought that it might have been when the Zods launched, but there's something else that launched earlier and it made the Millennium Falcon noise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like when the Millennium Falcon takes off, and I have misplaced where that was. I thought that was the Zods. So that's what I was listening for. I had to mute myself.
I love so much love the Psykill quotes in this episode. Psykill, he's just like he's pissed off that everything's going wrong. He is like, if you want its destruction done right, you have to do it yourself.
Oh yeah, well, like you were talking about earlier, when they finally revealed that Leader One is not dead.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, that's impossible," and then he just kind of lets it go.
yeah.
Like he realized, "Oh, look, I did the same thing everybody else did. That I've been, you know, verbally abusing everyone over." It's like,
Things
"Oh, well,
I do as well. Yeah.
yeah. When I do it, it doesn't count." Yeah,
It's different. It's way different.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I love that because he just kind of grumbles to himself like if you want destruction done right, you have to do it yourself.
Oh yeah, he stomps off too.
Yeah, he is really big mad right now. But I love that about him. He's like, he's like, man, I'll take care of this. But he shows up and has a fight with Leader One. Leader One chases him down. Leader One with his Zod stolen energy is like
Yeah.
shooting, like his fist, weapons at him. And AJ and Nick, I'm sorry, no, God, Matt and Anya, sorry, surprise him with laser rifles. They like jump out of a cubby,
Oh
like
yeah.
surprise. And
Well, and Scooter finally, hacked it open the code to let him into Cheyenne Mountain.
that's right, they did.
He did some heavy duty hacking there because it was like a numeric code he had to hack. So
And once again, Scooter is a much better character than we all remember.
he hacked the Gibson.
He did.
So
Um, but
yeah, and then well they fight Crasher after that because Turbo comes in and Crasher stomps their shockwave at him.
before that, though,
Oh, before that, okay,
before that,
before that.
after they take care of Psykill,
Hmm.
Matt and Anya share a very tender moment.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, actually, that's after this, but
Oh,
yes.
okay, fine. Well, do your thing, man. You do your own timeline.
So yeah, well, it's there's an animation error with her shockwave because it shoots towards Turbo
Mhm.
and then it cuts across the wrong background, which is the background for the next scene. So it
Okay.
looks really weird. And then all of a sudden, like when Turbo shoots the shockwave, then magically Crasher and Copter appear on that same background.
I was wondering, I thought there's a weird I don't know if there's a lag of the animation, but apparently that's what's going on.
Yeah, and like I said, they were rushing to wrap this up because
Yeah.
again, it was all about timing.
Hmm.
And they only beat Transformers to the air by a few days with this.
Nice.
So yeah, they probably got a message from Tonka like, "Hey, we need to step it up. Just get it done."
Guys,
So yeah,
get it wrapped up.
all the nice, clean, polished stuff from the like first couple episodes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's kind of being put on hold because they're like, "Yeah, we've got to beat them to TV. We beat them to the shelves. We got to beat them to TV." So if they'd had a comic to go along with this, like if they'd gone with DC or something for it, then you never know. They might have got the trifecta.
Yeah, that would have been nice, but I don't know. This is really to me, it works really well. The way they have it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And we had another animation error in that same fight with Crasher and Copter
oh
because
crap.
Copter throws his rotor at him at Nick and AJ and Turbo.
That's right. It
And
kind of like does a stall thing where it stops?
yeah, it stops, but the camera keeps panning like it was supposed to track it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like the lag lets go and it catches up to
Yeah.
where it should have been to where the camera was tracking. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's when Nick and AJ show up with the GI Joe surplus tanks
Yes, and they're
with
actually
the
really well. They actually look like JJ surplus tanks, but they also look like very BlackRock style tanks.
oh yeah, they've got the yeah, totally, and they've got the double cannons on them
Yeah.
and the bubble cockpit, which it kind of
Yes.
reminds me it's a little bit like the Negavator from Transformers.
It is actually. It's very much
And
like the
all,
Negator.
and what was it? Sean Berger's like sci-fi tanks that he was at his solar power station.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
which
exactly what I was thinking of. Yes.
and which again, these tanks came first.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
yeah, that
it's a great
was
catch. I knew I understood. I recognize this from somewhere.
well, and I think that was a good like sci-fi design for tanks on cartoons because I'm pretty sure we've seen that in other places too.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see that like in Super Friends or something.
You're not wrong at all.
Yeah.
That's great.
So yeah, that's when we get to the point where yeah, Matt Hunter kisses a commie.
They have a tender moment and they kiss.
Man, being a NASA employee, just that alone, he is in so much trouble.
Oh, he is blacklisted at this point.
Yeah. I mean, he wrecks a space shuttle and then, he's practically sleeping with the enemy. So,
My notes were there's a tender moment. Um,
I literally
that's
put Matt Hunter kisses a commie.
yeah, of course, my approach is much softer than yours.
Yeah,
But I appreciate that.
I'm getting in touch with the Reagan era there. I'm
Anything you want,
oh man.
deregulation completely.
Right? Yeah, let's just do that and then let's sell arms to everybody on the planet.
So there's a Psykill gets like he's fine. He gets like he gets thrown into this almost like a chamber or a pipe or something,
It's
and
like a big vat type, like a closed vat.
yeah, he melts through it though, and you see him like they're all like celebrating like, but wait, they're Psykill. He's escaping. He's like just trotting through this doorway.
That's the moment I told you about last time because he's down there and you think he's down and they cut away and they cut back and like, oh no, he's gone. That's the Michael Myers moment.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
You
they
assume
shot
he's
him out of the
dead.
yard. Yeah, and you look out and he's gone.
Yeah,
And
the
it's
thing
like,
is though, you can't kill Soundwave that easily, man. Just like Michael Myers, he is the shape.
oh yeah, he,
But my
Psykill.
favorite part of this episode, though,
Hmm.
Psycho shows up and tells Braxis that he's leaving and giving him control of Earth.
Oh yeah, he passed on. He's like, oh really? Oh great, thanks man.
And then he shoots the crystal.
Oh yeah, he blasts a pulsar generator so he can't control anybody and he's gonna die.
Oh, he's like, good luck keeping it. What?
What do
And
you mean?
Braxis is like, what are you doing right now?
Well, and his first reaction is like, "Oh no, I won't be able to control the people." And it's like, "Oh no,
The
the
Sorium.
Sorium's gonna blow up." He's like, and Psykill's goodbye moment was like the best thing when he tells him like basically bailing on you and leaving you to die just really makes my day.
Actually, the line was, frankly, Braxis, leaving you behind makes my day.
Yeah,
Perfect. No notes.
he could have Astro Beam Braxis with him, but he's like,
He could
"Nah,
have, but he didn't want to.
this guy, I'm gonna leave you to die." That's like my
Oh,
that's my silver lining right there.
that's so good. Psyche's like, yeah, I could save you, but I'm not going to. Bye. Good
And
luck.
he kind of says goodbye to himself to Crasher and Copter because they've been captured or they're still somewhere else.
They're beat up. It's
Yeah,
like
and
your sacrifices will be remembered.
yeah, and he just bails on everybody and Astro beams himself to Thruster.
Yep. And like leaves on Thruster. He blasts out of the atmosphere and he's gone. But wait, there's more.
Yes.
Leader one is like, can we Astro Beam the Sorium somewhere? And like, yeah, of course you can. Well, hope my coordinates are correct. And he Astro Beams the Sorium that's going critical into a cloud of Zods heading towards Gobotron.
Yeah, the Zod Armada gets a dose of Sorium and it
Oh,
detonates and just takes them all out.
yep.
So that really would have wrecked Earth.
Yeah, if he
Yeah.
could destroyed all the Zods, yeah,
Oh
it would
yeah.
have massively wrecked Earth. So
Cheyenne Mountain would have been a pit.
yeah, it would have. Dude, the whole planet would have
Cheyenne
been a pit.
Memorial Crater. Yeah.
Yeah. But after everything's happy done, everything's happy, everything's great, and the Guardians are leaving on the command center.
Oh,
And they're
well, wait.
like,
We've got Crasher, Copter, and Braxis are all captured.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
little ahead of myself.
It's all right. And
I
here's
know.
something I was wondering about Psykill astro beaming himself out. The astro beam is temporary. So in 48 hours, is
Oh.
it gonna beam him back to the
Oh.
destroyed Earth? I was like, hmm.
Well, we'll see
Yeah. Inquiring minds want to know.
what happens next. But for right now,
Yes.
yeah. That's all that'll happens and like the
Here's now we're up to where you were talking about, where
yeah.
Anya, Matt, AJ, and Nick are talking to the Guardians and saying their goodbye, and I'll miss you
Yeah.
most of all, Scarecrow.
And they're like, you can come with us if you want. Yeah, oh, really? That's kind of cool. And the general at China Mountain's like, we got a lot of questions for you guys.
Oh yeah, NASA has a ton of questions for Dr. Anya and Matt.
So they leave.
Yeah, they just decide they're just taking off. And Anya says, Ishkabibble.
Okay, you actually translated that?
Oh yeah, well, you don't really have to translate it because it's not Russian. It's mock Yiddish. It's not
Okay.
Yiddish. It's meant to sound Yiddish. There was a American comedian from the 1940s and 50s named Ish Kabibble, okay? And his name came from like a little song he did, which was it was fake Yiddish. And it's supposed to mean like should I worry or it doesn't matter to me. And this is tied to Alfred E. Newman's What Me Worry. So it's basically that thing. So it's like I don't give a crap is basically what it means.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's what it was like there was a joke song and he made it his character name he do where he was like a bumbling musician
Nice.
because he was actually an accomplished cornet player.
Coronet of all things.
Yes,
Nice.
and he worked that into his act. His real name was Merwin Bogue, if I'm saying that right. But yeah, so
Cool.
yeah,
So
he was kind of a big deal in the 40s and 50s. And
so
so that's a reference to that and the mock Yiddish saying.
that's kind of cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
the writers were like, there was a writer on this show who loved that comedian.
Oh yeah, somebody like that or like the song or you know.
I was actually going to look that up, but I completely forgot to. I'm glad you knew what was going on with that. So
Oh yeah,
really
if
cool.
there's something that sticks out, I gotta find out what it is.
Obscure weirdness that sticks out.
Yeah. So
Great job.
while General Lindley is yelling basically, hammer. No, they take off, they warp off into, you know, towards Gobotron in the command center with the Gobots.
Hopefully, there's oxygen on the Gobotron in the atmosphere, so we'll see what happens. It was really cool. Like, whenever the pulsar generator got destroyed, the like I guess the waves around Earth kind of reminded me a little bit of a magnetic field look.
Hmm.
And so what I watched that and I was like, I don't remember this, the magnetic field part, but it cleared up. You realize what happened, but it was really kind of neat. But I love that point because there are so many more satellites than it showed,
Oh yeah, that was
even
just
at that point.
that was a quick and dirty is
You
what
guys
that
are very
was.
quick and dirty.
Yeah.
This whole thing was like a lot of fun, though. I got to say, I really enjoyed all of this. It's just it was a fun miniseries to watch.
Oh
Um,
yeah. And
and
Turbo told them, "Hey, we're going to track down Psykill too, because right now he's the only renegade left that's free."
yeah, that because they show off that they have Crasher and Copter in custody,
Yeah.
and and we don't really know what's going on with the cycle because when the Zod bomb went off, the Sorium, he was in thruster and he was getting beat up pretty bad across
And he was not
space.
happy when he saw it blow up. So,
No, he wanted to go back to Gobotron as a conquering hero, but he was not. So it's one of those weird things with this series because in a way, they are the oppressed that are trying to get the freedom, but the Guardians are supposed to be the good guys.
Hmm.
So go with that what you will.
Yeah, the establishment.
Yeah. Sometimes the establishment's okay. Sometimes it's not, but here we are.
They're always the good guys till they put you in the brainstormer.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Oh
but
God.
yeah, so
Brainstormer.
we got a bookend for it, but it's kind of open ended. It's like, Darth Vader tumbling away from the Death Star.
Actually, that's exactly what I thought of when I saw that.
Hmm.
When this look at stories of Death Star, you have Darth Vader and his little TIE fighter. He's like going through space, twirling around. He stops and corrects it. So yeah, exactly what Cycle was like. That's actually kind of funny. You and I are a few years off, so we have a lot of the same pop culture references. So
Oh
kind of works
yeah,
really well.
we weren't that far off.
No, not at all. I'm
Yeah.
just prettier.
No, yeah, well, that's a given. I don't know. My Jeeper Creeper face right now is rather nice.
That works, man.
As
Yeah,
opposed to my normal creeper face.
yeah, you paralyzed me with that one.
But yeah,
Oh,
it's really good. And when we get into the next miniseries on this, yeah, because I think we really should go straight in it. You'll see there's some good continuity between them.
okay, cool. Yeah, you're saying the next miniseries was shown at the end of season one, but really it plays in to being right after this miniseries, right?
Right. Yeah, it should be. It's weird the way they do it because some treat this miniseries as season one, and then the stuff that follows is season two. So it could be like the season two opener, or honestly, I think it was done a little more like the way they did G.I. Joe with like miniseries building up.
I was gonna say that because like G.I. Joe is very weird. Like all the little miniseries is leading up to season one were considered as kind of season one, but they weren't.
Right. Yeah,
So
it
I
was
could
just
see
a
that.
bunch of little, mini series. And they were doing this like in case they didn't get any more episodes done, they wanted this to market the toys. And
Hey, it
first and
works.
foremost, that's what this was. This was a toy commercial.
I mean, you got a lot of characters really quickly shown, like, whether you have like Jeeper Creeper or you have was it Conehead or Drillhead,
Screwhead.
Screwhead. You had a lot of like quick cameos.
Yeah,
So I
Crane
mean,
Brain,
Loco,
all those guys. Yeah,
yeah,
Loco. And notice they that was heavier in the last couple episodes.
yeah, it was,
Yeah, they made sure to try to get as many as they could packed into that, especially the final countdown.
yeah. So yeah, it was obviously something that was meant for yeah, exploitation of toys, but did it in a good way. They didn't really beat it over your head with it.
Yeah, well, and they gave it a good story.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So you can't ask for
and
more than that,
they did a lot to work the play pattern in too.
especially with Zod.
Yeah, you knew exactly how to play with these toys after you watched this show.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah,
So definitely great. Everyone, real quick, if you enjoy the episode, you want to follow us or give us a like on YouTube or whatever podcast thing you're listening on. If you want to like email the show, it's morethanmeetstheseguys at gmail.com. If you want to join the Discord, the Discord is in the actual show notes. So please come along. We have a really small but really active community, and it's kind of nice that way. You don't have too much going on. But also, I would invite you to join or seek out the axelonunderground.com or .net, whichever you prefer. So we are all like a tight group of fans, and we welcome everyone who wants to say hi and join up with the fun. And please, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, email or message on the Discord. So we appreciate you being here. This is something that I love doing. I take out time out of my everyday personal life to make sure I can do this, and I'm glad that Boo has no personal life of his own, so he can join me in all this stuff.
I get weekend release from the zoo.
Okay, your time's almost up, man. It is late. You
Yeah,
are overdue for the zoo.
they're serving bananas with duct tape.
Squishy brown ones, the sweetest kind.
Of course, you gotta, they age like fine wine.
I'm sure you can get some recipes off of about some prison hooch with some aged bananas. So good luck with that.
Oh yeah, gotta have that toilet fermentation.
Oh yeah,
The
the
renegades are gonna be doing that,
the toilet merlot.
right?
Everyone, thanks for being here tonight, and I appreciate you all checking us out, listening to the entire episode. For a couple of old guys are rambling over their stuff, and please come back next week. And thank you so much for being here. Boo, you want to take us out?
Bye.
Bye. More of the Mises Guys is performed by Evan Johns and Ed Strickland. Research is performed by Evan Johns, Ed Strickland, and with special research done by Boo of the AxelonUnderground.net. All used images in the videos are property of Sunbow, Hasbro, Paramount, or Marvel. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in every week with us. We appreciate it.